I've been in that rut for the last little while. You know the one, every gamer gets it. You've got lots of games, your Steam list is full, your shelf is full, but you really don't want to play any of them. So, God, for the last few weeks I've been dabbling around in old games, simple games, that sort of stuff. But last week I got an email from Humble Bundle with the Survival Pack, and I purchased it. I'm ready to give anything new a go. And in that list was a game called Savage Lands. Now, at the time that I'm creating this video, I believe it's still in pre-release, hasn't gone out mainstream yet, but look, I've got to say, I've been having a fantastic time, and I want to share this game with you. I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout series, Bethesda games. I love them, absolutely love them, but I almost never finish them, and that's for a very simple reason. I love sandbox games. I love moving around, doing what I want, where I want, how I want, and that sort of thing. I will occasionally, grudgingly update a quest if the update is in the area where I am or it synchronizes with what I'm doing. But generally, my quest list is full and very rarely whittles down unless I can see an item on that list that, you know, I absolutely must have. So, and that, I guess this is the reason that I'm enjoying this game so much, because it, in a lot of ways, is Skyrim or Fallout 3, without the burden of having to help other people. In fact, without the burden of even speaking or seeing other people at this stage. It's completely LAN or solo. And look, I'm enjoying the solo. There's enough content here to keep me happy. I'm just throwing a character together at the moment. Something simple. And you can see it is a very simple character creation process. My God. So we're not going to go crazy on this. But here we go. We're going to create that. We're going to create a new game world. Okay. Loading, loading, loading. Now, what I love about this game is it's quite simple. The reward you're going for in the game is the most simple one there is. It's the luxury and the privilege of staying alive. Now, in the bottom right-hand side of the screen there, you can see there's only two real things that you need to focus on. That is your life, the red bar, and hunger, that's the green bar down the bottom there, which for all intents and purposes is a fatigue bar or a stamina bar, if you like. Now, looking at the health bar, you'll also notice that there's blue starting to eat away with the snowflake symbol on the far right extreme. What that is cold. I'm currently succumbing to the effects of cold. Now, the moment you start the game, and I don't know if it's going to be like this in the release version, you're going to find a whole bunch of tools, just enough to slow that freezing process down, and a little lore here so you can get a feel for what's going on in the land. I've also got a hatchet in my inventory as well. Something about the game, blah blah blah, exile, blah, I don't really give a shit, to be honest. I'm just enjoying the whole solitary struggle of being alive at the moment and trying to stay that way. Now, if you have a look down at the bar down the bottom there, you can see I've got a hatchet equipped. This right here will tell you a big percentage of what the game's about. I loved the crafting system in Elder Scrolls, but again too, everything was so remote and spread out, took so long to get, cost so much money, and again you had to deal with people. In this game you don't. You take what you want from the land and you start to build. Now, on the right hand side of the screen too, you will also see that there's a list of free quests right at the beginning. And these pretty much will give you a feel. They will orient you in the game and get you up and running with the basic mechanics required to get this game going. Okay, so that's wood. We've managed to get wood. Here we go. Here's a stone on the ground. We're always going to need stones, at least in the early part of the game. And until we can craft some more advanced tools, we're just going to have to make do with what we find. Okay, so we've got some wood. We've got a couple of stones. I'm trying to look for something. There we go. There's a rabbit. Come here. That's right. Come here. I've got to axe you something. There you go. Looting this corpse. So it's resource gathering, and for many, I know straight up that whole concept of constantly crafting and resource gathering is going to become meticulous to the point of tedious for many, many people. Look, however, there's those certain people out there like myself who love this whole solitary process of interacting with the world and building something out of nothing and making that something your own, and that's me to a T. Now, as that cold eats down on my life bar there on the right hand side, you can see that it's dropping. Even if I warm up after this point, whatever was blue will stay empty. So it's the same as the radiation system in Fallout. It pushes your life bar down and you still need to basically push that up again when you manage to cure that ailment that you've got. Chipping away at a piece of flint here in the vain hope that a piece of flint will pop off. That's right, I need to make a hammer in order to make this work. Okay. Alright, so let's have a look at this list over here. I need to make a campfire. So if I press the J key, it'll bring up the lore list here. But also too, if I click on home, you'll also see a list of things that I can make. These are, like for example, a campfire right here. If I decide I want to make a campfire, click on that icon, it'll ask me where I want to place it. And then I'll see a ghosted out image that will complete once all the components have been satisfied. So we're putting stones in right now, 3 logs, but we haven't found any flint yet. Now this is flint over here. I can break some off, but I will need some flint in order to complete that campfire. Come here, you. Don't run into the water. Oh, you son of a bitch. And there he goes. I'm not going to chase him. Because I know I'm going to run out of stamina and he's faster than I am. But he should stay hurt in a perfect universe. And I should be able to pick him up in a little while. There's some flint sitting right here. Take this flint over to our campfire. Partially completed. That's just waiting for 2 pieces of flint. Where the hell did I put that? There is a compass in this game, but you've either got to find it or you've got to build it. 1, 2, campfire. And there we go. Look down in the bottom right. You can see that. As I warm up, that blue's pushing back. So, at the early start of the game, just hovering around a campfire and building things is an awfully good plan. So here we go. We have logs. I'm going to try and put a lean-to together at the moment. Just a very basic building. Where are we? There we go. There's one slight problem I'm having with the game right now. There we go. That's set. I'm just pressing I at the moment, so you can see my inventory right at the early part of the game, and perhaps for the entirety of the game, the only real restriction, the only real limitation that I've found you've got, other than the external factors like cold and hunger, is inventory space. Once you're able to create enough inventory space to carry whatever you want, the limitations of the game really lift, which is appealing from a survival and an exploration point of view. If you're that person who loves to see what's over the very next hill, then that's a fantastic thing for you. However, if you're one of those hunter-gatherer types that likes to settle down and build up a settlement at the same time, it's sort of a blessing and a curse. It's a little double-edged from that point of view, and I'll show you why. Because practically around every corner or over each hill, you can see that dragon up the top there as well. He's actually on the tower, but he's spawned a little earlier than the tower has. You'll find that there are abandoned settlements and various states of disrepair in the game world all around. So once you start to gather a good complement of resources and materials, you can always fix these places around here, which means you almost never have to build a settlement from scratch if you don't want to. And what that means too is as long as you've got enough equipment in your backpack and you push as you keep exploring, chance that there's an almost complete likelihood that you're going to run into a spot that you can simply do the most basic upgrades, or even just build a campfire right on the spot, and you will find that you can settle there, and that will take care of your needs for cold. You can cook, you can set up the resources that you need to settle and to sustain your own life in the game. For the early part of the game, you're going to be obsessing over the most simple things. You're going to be spending a lot of time running around looking for stones, trying to catch slow-moving, less aggressive animals like rabbits or small wild pigs and that sort of thing. But as you start to take control of the external factors that keep you alive, as soon as you've got a steady supply of food, and that, when I say that, I mean you're always going to be hunting. You'll simply become more efficient at it. When you've got shelter sorted and all of that sort of stuff, when you've got a basic camp happening as well, at least in the early part of the game, then you'll start to turn your attention towards bigger things So right now, for the very first part of the game, what I'm going to focus on, now that I've got my campfire set up that'll keep me alive, that I can use to cook with. Here we go, some cooked rabbit meat from that rabbit I killed before. And then I can craft basic objects from... look, I'm in a good place right now. So my early priorities are going to be to create a hammer. I want a basic stone hammer. And I also want to have a bow and arrow as well. The order is basically I want the hammer so that I can mine. If I can mine, I can get flint. If I can get flint, I can make arrowheads, which means that when I make a bow and arrow, I've got some ammo so that I can hunt deer and other things like that. My ability to provide for myself is going to go right up. It won't be based simply around gathering all the time and waiting for slow-moving creatures. Also, once I mine, I can start getting the ingredients that I need, like clay and tin and coal and all of that sort of stuff, to start building some equipment to sustain life, and I'll walk you through it. Also, keep an eye out for the locals. I want to make a stone hammer, like I said, so that I can start mining now. If I just take a look down this list here, let's go to weapons. Here we go, stone hammer. If I click on that, it'll tell me what I need now. I've got the stone that I need, I've got the sticks that I need, but I'll need sinew. Now if I click on this, it'll take me straight to this menu right here. I'll see that I've actually got the required component. I just need an animal skin. If I craft this, that's set, and if I jump back to this, I'll see stone hammer in the list, plus a bunch of other tools that I can use to create as well. Clicking on that, I've got a hammer made. Now if I go to my inventory, here it is. I'm going to drag it down to my bar. Press 2 to select that hammer. Now, there's a persistence on objects, so if your inventory is full, look, I just drop them straight here on the ground, so around the campfire. So, you know, if I'm standing there and going through my inventory, I'm also warming myself up at the same time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start showing you the utility of a stone hammer. Now this is just a basic rock. Because it's so low tech at the moment, I've got the most basic. It takes me 6 hits to draw something from this node. And frankly, if it's not making a dull thud sound when you hit it, then chances are it's some form of node in this game. You can get stuff from almost everything. Ice will give you water. You'll also see the mining things around as well. Clay is what we're looking for right now. I want clay so that I can make stone slabs. If I can make stone slabs, then I can make a forge and a kiln. And my inventory is full. Now if I go up to any derelict building around here, you can see straight up what I'm going to need to get that into a full state of repair. I'm going to need 6 more planks, and I'm going to need 1 more bag of nails to get that thing in place. This one over here is going to need a little more work. I'm going to need 12 planks, and I'm going to need 6 sets of nails. But once these are gathered and I've put these into these buildings, they'll be fully set up. So if I go to my book here at the moment and have a look at the components that I need, I'm going to need coal and I'm going to need a tin ingot as well, neither of which I have, and this is why I need the hammer. This is going to get me to a point where I can start producing these items for myself. But it also, oh shit, I'm getting very hungry. Wait a second. Crisis, let's eat. Bit of rabbit meat. And an apple for dessert. That should keep hunger away just for a little while. Look, it's probably going to be a smart idea for me to go and do a bit more hunting too before we get into the other side. So I'm back after a successful little hunting expedition there. So let's go mining. That's food taken care of. I'm going to be hungry soon, but I've got a bag full of food at the moment. I'm in a very good position in that regard. I've warmed up by the fire. Got my hammer selected. Here I've got a tin node. At the moment I'm not going to worry about that so much, but I'm going to grab some coal. This is going to become a critical component. Like I said earlier, because my hammer is so low tech at the moment, it doesn't get any lower. It's taking a lot of work to mine these nodes. Although I just got better. You can see my hammer's gone yellow down there on my toolbar. It's wearing out, so what I'm going to need to do is repair that thing before it breaks, but I'm just going to collect the last of this tin before I do that. Alright, I've been busy, and I've got a lot of key resources that I need to get things happening at this camp, so what I want to do is I want to get a smelter so that I could start making ingots from that tin that we gathered a little earlier, but I'll need a stone slab to do that. Let's have a look. Just because I don't have the ingredients doesn't mean I can't lay them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my smelter here. Yeah, you can tell I've played The Sims and other games like that. I'm a bit anal about where all my stuff goes. Crafting table, we're going to need that. Let's put it right there. Sitting here by the campfire looking at the fruits of my labour on the first day here on the island. Life is good. Now I've also built a tanning rack. I'm going to start getting some leather together. Here we go. Found some logs in my bag. I've got a boar's tusk pouch, and that's got 10 slots in there, which is going to solve a whole bunch of problems for me. I craft that. That goes straight into the inventory, which opens up 10 additional slots. Now one interesting thing about this game, and I mentioned it earlier, is there does not appear to be encumbrance, which means that I can pick up, well, there is on objects that you are actually wielding, like a hammer or something big. It may take extra work to swing, maybe a little slower, maybe a little heavier, but you won't actually be worn out by that encumbrance. Okay, so we've managed to pick up a whole bunch of stuff. What we're going to do over the next little while is get the components that I need to make about 2 or 3 more of these bags, and once that's done, we're set. But what I was saying is, look, once those bags are all full, I can pretty much pick up anything I want, stack it in my bags, and these things, I mean, you can have 20 pieces of clay in one stack. You can get 200 stones there as well, so there's no real limitations. Everywhere you go and you see some item on the ground, pick it up, and as long as you've got the bag space to do it, it's not going to slow you down, it's going to wear you out any faster than if you didn't pick that item up. And it's just thinking ahead, because eventually you're pretty much going to need everything that drops in this game. Come on. It's day 2 and I've been busy. I've upgraded my stone hammer to a tin hammer, so the time it takes for me to harvest from nodes now has been cut down tremendously. Look, I've also made some leather boots, and I found a fur cuirass at a poacher's camp not too far from here, so I'm warmer, which means that the blue on my health bar is going to build up a little slower. What I'm going to do is get busy. I've also made a bunch of arrows as well, so I'm going to be better at hunting, but I'm just noticing that every second day life seems to be less prevalent than it was the day before. So I might not have a lot of luck hunting. Oh, here we go. Here's a pig. I can chase a pig down. They're generally not that fast, but let's do it the new way. If you're an explorer at heart, if you don't need to be told what to do or where to go, then there are a lot of amazing experiences to be had in the savage world. If you enjoy manifesting, leaving your own mark on the land, building, and most importantly, if you don't need other people around you while you're doing it, and that's me to a fault, then I highly, highly recommend the Savage Lands, and I'm looking forward to a final release.